order if we stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, is there any corrections or things with the agenda that somebody wants to make? Okay. So I just need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
All right, Julia made a motion. And it has been seconded. And all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. The agenda is approved.
Who seconded? I did.
Brian. At this time, I would like Dale to come forward. This is what you want to do right now. Tonight, we're just appreciating Dale. Dale is going to retire and at the end of this month. So as this is a resolution of retirement for David. Whereas Mr. Dale Pearson will be retiring from his position as a wastewater superintendent effective June 30th, 2024. And whereas Mr. Dale Pearson has served the city of Alcester faithfully for over 20 years. And whereas the city of Alcester recognizes and sincerely appreciates the more than 20 years of hard work and dedication that Mr. Dale Pearson has devoted to the city of Alcester. Now therefore, be it resolved that the city of Alcester hereby congratulates and extends best wishes to Mr. Dale Pearson for a long and healthy retirement, and be further resolved that his resolution becomes a part of the official minutes of the city of Alcester, and a copy will be forwarded to Mr. Dale Pearson. It's adopted this day in Alcester, South Dakota, this 18th day of June, 2024. Congratulations. He gets this too, right? Yep. Just so you can claim that. Okay. We're already bugging him to come back and help us. Okay, we have a great crowd tonight. We're glad to see everybody here. I know you're here probably for the park thing, but is there anyone really interested in becoming an alderman for the west side, Ward 1 of Alcester? If so, speak now. No one's speaking. Gotta find one. So we'll go on to, is anybody here interested in becoming the mayor? No volunteers. All right, so we'll move on. We now need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of Wednesday, June 5th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve regular meeting minutes of Wednesday, June 5th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Carrie made a motion, Kendra seconded to approve the minutes of Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, does anybody have any public input before we get to the park? Yes.
Hi, council members. My name is Rita Sharples, and I am the new editor for the Beersford, Alcester, Hudson Republic newspaper. And I just wanted to come to the meeting and introduce myself. And I tell you briefly about myself. I've been in journalism a lot of years. I was a journalism professor, and I was born and raised in Wakanda. That's where I still live. Moved away for a lot of years, came back. I have 4 teenage children. They're almost out of the house, and so I was mainly taking care of them, and then I decided to come back and get into journalism again. and we're in a full-time capacity. So I just took over this position a couple weeks ago, and I'm happy to meet you all, and I hope you will. The newspaper can only be as good as the information I get to get in it. So what I need is I need everyone, hello everyone, sorry I got my back to you, but you know, reach out and send me tips, information, feature stories, ideas. The more I hear about, the more I can cover. I am familiar with Alcester somewhat because I grew up in the area, so you know, I had friends who were here when I was a kid and stuff. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public input from anybody? Just the one thing, I've had some discussion about the pool, and a little bit of concern is if you're gonna buy a family pass, we're already gonna be down 1 month. But I talked to Dave the other day, we are gonna have to do something to lower the price if the pool, hopefully the pool opens here soon. So it's just something, I let them know we will look at that. So we might have to I don't know what we'll have to do.
Probably just do a
Resolution
to adopt these for the summer.
for this summer.
Or else just prorate it for the summer would be.
Really not too much, okay.
Just put a motion.
Okay, all right, sounds good. No other input then at this time? Okay, so we will move on to number 9, Norman Engineering.
Hi, good evening. Aaron Norman with Norman Engineering, and I got Carter Roberts, landscape architect. With our company, I'm an engineer and surveyor. Just wanted to thank David for allowing us to come down tonight and introduce ourselves. We're excited to work on this project and meet the team and the stakeholders as we progress through this. I guess I'll let Carter kind of explain a little more of the process, but you know, we worked on a lot of park projects in Sioux Falls and surrounding areas, and a lot of neat ones too, but they all kind of start with a vision like we're talking about here, you know, getting people in a room or out on site and seeing what's important to communities and working out how to fit that into a master plan and get budgets and costs associated with each of these projects so you can figure out how to pay for them down the road. So we're excited and happy to be here, and I think we have a meeting set up on July 9th with some of the stakeholders to meet on site to kind of start, you know, putting ideas on paper, get some thoughts, and kind of work towards, you know, a big plan picture here. So with that, I'll let Carter kind of explain a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Carter Roberts. Like Aaron said, I'm a landscape architect. Been with Aaron since he kind of took over his dad's firm. Spent some time working with the Sioux Falls Park system as well, so we're familiar with the process, like Aaron said. And just wanted to come down and introduce ourselves and put a face to a name. And like Aaron said, on the 9th, we'll have a meeting, kickoff meeting with city staff, the park committee, and any counselors who want to attend as well. Kind of develop some project goals, hopefully get some timelines. We know you guys are doing a renovation project at the pool right now, so that'll certainly play into, you know, what the future of the park looks like. And then from there, we'll kind of reach out to the public and do some meetings and see what the public wants, and how the future of the park will look. You know, all the features, the playgrounds, the shelters, you know, any paths going through there, and certainly the pool. So yeah, like Aaron said, we're happy to be here, and we'll stick around till the end of the meeting if you want to pull us aside, and if you have any specific questions or anything, we're happy to help. So.
What, you got a question right now?
Yeah, just one quick question, not to put you on the spot or anything, but for a town this size and the park, I'm sure you've had time to buzz around it and everything. What's the time frame for this size area compared to Sioux Falls? Meaning, if we see and want to do improvements 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, so we realistically can start thinking time frame, just as a start.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to try and talk about on the 9th.
Okay.
Kind of identify and build a scope for us, you know, what you guys want to see, and then we'll kind of identify, you know, some projects and some budgets and you know, what different aspects of the master plan will cost. So we're just trying to paint that vision so, you know, you can identify, you know, next year we want to do this project, so let's, you know, find the dollars to make it work,
Yeah,
so.
because we need your wisdom on what is too much time before losing
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
momentum.
Like you said, you're like a new playground facility or area, you know, we could start, we're doing some projects on that, so we got some ideas of what they roughly cost, and we can scope that in, or, you know, to what sort of threshold, and, you know, have that vision on paper with some idea of cost, and look for, you know, grants or some monies out there to help pay for that. And kind of pick off pieces of the park as you know,
Mhm.
get dollars allocated.
We've got more grants coming, don't we, Dave?
We actually do. We just got notified today that we were awarded the community grant from Poet for $2,000. So they'll be by this coming Monday to do the presentation, and shortly thereafter we'll get the check in the mail from them. So. And as a committee group, we're working on some ideas for some different fundraisers coming up end of the summer, into the fall. So.
Like your bigger cities, like Sioux Falls, they have a capital improvement program where they
Oh,
start 10 years out, might get into like a 5-year program.
we'll probably never get to their momentum.
Right. But we've done some work like up in Madison too, where they pilot the game fishing parks, you know,
Sure.
they want to do trail projects, and so there's avenues out there, you gotta kind of have the map and vision to present that.
Great.
Okay, so you're welcome to stay and listen to.
Yeah, we'll stick around if you guys want to close aside or anything, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
okay, we'll now move on to legal updates if we need any.
I don't really have anything. There's gonna be another amendment or a new ordinance coming that we've been working with Dave on, but that'll be at the next meeting. The only other one is in 13.
This one tonight.
Yeah, the 113, so we'll chat
Okay.
about that then.
Jeff?
Yeah,
Christie, would you?
I don't know if you guys have anything for me, but we're doing the contract, obviously, for the city. We're exceeding, I think we have it set at 30 hours per week. We've exceeded that. I mean, I think we're closer to 40 or above normally. And that's with calls as well, too. Some of that stuff doesn't go quick, but hopefully everybody's happy with what we're getting on so far. But I think it's going well.
I've heard very good things, so
Yeah, if there's
appreciate
anything,
that.
Dave's been great to work with. If there's anything that pops up, he reaches out right away. So it's been great.
Anybody got any questions for them?
Well, I see you around and I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, you do see them.
Each deputy is assigned at least a couple hours in every shift, and then we keep one deputy north in the county, one deputy south, because obviously we cover the dunes, which is roughly 3,000 people as well. We have the rest of the county to cover, but we like to keep them spread out, so even if they're not patrolling town, we have a quick response time into town if something pops off, so, and it does.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other, no other legal updates on tape? We're good there? Okay. Okay, at this time, Jamie, would you like to speak to us, please?
Got some handouts for you folks.
Oh, you got passing.
Give it up there.
Here.
Oh, here, I got one.
Got one? Oh. Sorry about that. I can turn that off. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight and have some time with you folks. I'm from Premier Bank. I'm the branch manager here and vice president. And I have Jared Dreesen along with Jesse Paulson with me. Who also work at the bank and are vice presidents. glasses on here. So we have a request on behalf of the city council that we would be able to relocate our drive up to the east side of the bank along Iowa Street. In order for us to accomplish that, we would need to have that sidewalk, become owners of that sidewalk. And I think that could be done in a couple ways, from my understanding from the engineers. We could purchase that sidewalk area, which has been, we have had it engineered as far as how many foot it is, how many feet it is, or the city council could potentially vacate 12 feet or 13 feet by 130 feet. So there's a couple options that we could look at doing to do that. So for the past year, we've been looking at doing some remodeling and updating in the interior of the bank. We feel it's very necessary to do. We last remodeled in 1997. And at that point, that's been, I guess, 20, almost 25 years ago now. So we feel like we need to do some updating, some of the furniture, painting, different things like that, and also become a little more efficient in our space up there. We would like, if you're not aware where the drive up is right now, it's on the south side of the bank under the canopy. And there's some safety concerns that we have it being located there. If you don't mind, I go to page 3. It's kind of a diagram on engineer's proposed site plan. And there's a green box down there that represents where that drive up is right now. And of course, cars come in from the west, maybe a lot of you have used that. There's a corner there, there's a very blind corner. Somebody walking down that sidewalk, there's no warning as to a car coming out from where that ATM and that drive up are, and it's just a 90-degree angle. And there's no sight at all in regards to that corner. We've never had a problem with it yet. Well, I shouldn't say that we know of. I suppose there's been close calls, I don't know. But we feel like that's a safety issue that we want to overcome there. Also, we have an employee spot there in the drive-up that's down there all by themselves. And we don't feel that's best conducive from the standpoint of, an employee with not necessarily efficiency, but just being down there all by themselves all day. That's the only thing they can do really is the drive-up facility with the traffic that's there. And if that person had a sickness, we'd have to call somebody up, obviously, which is not a problem, but if they fainted or something like that, they don't have any access to any other coworkers, and then we don't feel it's a very safe, conducive place, or best what we can do. So we've been looking at different schematics over the past year, and on page 2, if you don't mind backtracking there, what we could potentially do in the interior of the bank is to move our drive up to the other side of the lobby. That gives those tellers working the teller window to the other side of the lobby, which then allows them to work a drive-up area along with the teller window that's in the lobby of the bank. I put page 2 on there just for your general information so you can start to see what we've been dealing with, but those are not hard concrete office spaces or anything like that. But that's the benefit from our standpoint. We've looked at different dynamics again of keeping the drive up where it's at, but it's always, for us, interior-wise, not very efficient. It's a long way from the vault, it's a long way from lots of things. So, page 4, there's a couple of dynamic pictures there of what this could look like from the standpoint of the bank and how that drive up would work. We could potentially maintain those parking spots on the west side or on that east side. I'm not 100% sure on that from the standpoint how many were there. I think there's 4 that are drawn in there. Whether it would be 4 or not, it might be just 3. Also, we have about 130 inches of space to work with from the building to the 160 inches to work with from the building to the curb. We've got 12-inch curve on the bank side, building side, and it's probably a deal where most of the others will work, but when you get these 4-wheel drive pickups with a cattle guard on the front, you may not be able to park there because then that space goes into the drive-up area. But that would probably be the only problem with that. So this is a proposal, I guess, we would ask that you would consider. From our standpoint, you know, we need to do remodeling, we need to do some painting and different things. We've got a skylight that needs to be replaced or something. Lifespan on the court, fortunately, it's not raining in or anything like that, but some things that need to be updated. Premier Bank, we have 20 employees at the bank right now. Proud to say that. In the last 2 years, we paid over $182,000 in franchise tax to the state of South Dakota. And I know some of that comes back to the city of Alcester in the other income category. Not all of it by any means, the state takes their cut, but some comes back to the city and to the school. We do a lot of things that we feel in the community, not only represent different organizations within the community and development, but we also do a lot of annual contributions to nonprofits in the community. And I guess probably 3 years ago, we gave a significant gift to the community center of $250,000. So Premier Bank, even though our ownership is no longer in Alcester proper, it's in Rock Valley with 5 branches in Rock Valley, Rock Rapids, Dune, Hudson, and Alcester. I think we're a very community-minded bank. I think some of the concerns that maybe previously were discussed in regards to this was parking spots. The last page of this packet give to you just shows that within a half block of that corner, there are 96 parking spots. That's not counting where the auditorium is. It's not counting down by Alcoda and Custom, which are obviously their employees are pretty well dedicated to. But just in a half block of that corner, there's 96 spots. And there's sufficient parking for anything that goes on. I mean, obviously our employees would use 20 of those probably, but you know, it really, there's lots of parking spots available, whether there's, it's called down to from 6 less, or whether it's 3 less. I think it's, I don't think it puts a burden on anybody. So, any questions that you folks would have of me, or Jared, or Jesse?
Would the curb stay where it's at?
Yes.
That the street
Yeah.
wouldn't change then?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
that was one.
And there's no real elevation. My concern would be that we want to make sure we're not changing any water that's going towards Alcoa.
Yeah,
We
because I
want to put
know
that
there's
in the
a
alley, but that curb would stay the same. Now, if for some reason the engineer said you just can't do that again because of, I'll say the pickups with the cattle guards on the front, that go an extra 18 inches in and we're just running out of room there, I can tell you that distance between the bank building and the curb is probably all of 30 inches longer than what our drive-up is right now. Okay, so we're talking 10-inch curb next to the bank, but so there should be sufficient places there. So
I did talk to the lawyers. I just want them aware of this. Do you guys see any liability at this point?
Well, as far as liability, I don't, because ultimately, if it's vacated, it's no longer the city's.
We don't have to worry. Okay.
If it were to become a part of their lot, they're responsible for it.
Okay.
I need to look into more specific mechanism, depending on what the city wanted to do, if they wanted to sell it, what the proper mechanism for us to do that is. So I don't know for that, I'm looking at the vacation process now.
Okay.
That set out by statute was pretty clear that we wouldn't have any liability. If we sell it, I still don't think we would have any liability associated with it.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest, the last time I was not for it. And I do like this plan much better than the last plan. Because the last plan had a boulevard in it, and it to me just didn't flow. I like this one much better with parking spots still available. And this week, I put a notepad in my car, and every time I went downtown, I marked how many cars were on that street. So, number one is, there's hardly any cars on that street. From the end of Alcota to the corner. 4 different times there was not one car on either side. So that really wasn't a big issue. Probably, I didn't bring my notebook in, 4 times there was 3 cars on the west side, 1 car on the east side. That was, so I mean, it's not, I think our concern the first time was the cafe was still open. We did not want to take away spots from customers while that no longer is open. So this does look, I don't know, it looks better to me. So, I don't know, you guys have any questions?
You mentioned the
Yeah.
cafe being closed right now, but, you know, is there a potential of the day when that does open up again? You know, we would like to.
That's why I do like it that there's still 2-3 spots across the street. Yes?
With the opening of the new Lottie's, is that going to be a different situation where they're going to need more parking?
I don't think this will affect their parking much. No, it's a good, I thought that too, but typically I think they parked to the east if there was, but most of them park in the front, I would say. Wouldn't you guys typically say that?
Go down in front of Pete's and stuff, usually we
Yeah.
go down that curve there.
Yeah,
And even if people did park on the west side, it was almost always after hours.
yeah.
After bank
After
hours,
bank.
so I don't think it would affect the bank traffic at all.
My question is there gonna be any type of like marking or posts at the end of the curb dividing the drive up to the parking spots? For when snow falls, if we get more than that little tiny curb is gonna be covered, and I don't want it to get run into with any type of snow removal equipment.
So you're talking about the curb between the bank that the car's gonna pull up to. That would be the same as it is right now. So are
But
you
you're
thinking
taking the
that if it,
sidewalk away, so therefore if snow covers it, you wouldn't be able to see.
there wouldn't be any sidewalk between, there'd be curb, you pull up, the car would pull up to the curb, and the bank would be over here. Just like now, I'm not,
Right, so I think like between the building, there's only gonna be like a probably yay wide curb, correct?
oh, between the bank and the,
Well,
yes.
that, the divider between the parking spots and the drive-through, so like if it would all fill in with snow, they might not be able to tell where the edge of the
Sorry,
curb
this
is.
little,
I think this is-
little part right here.
I mean, at this point, that hasn't been discussed whether to replace that and make it higher or anything like that. I mean, right now, it's probably a 6-inch curve or maybe an 8-inch curve or something like that. Are you thinking maybe a 12-inch curve or something, or what?
Or
Just a
even just
pole
like a
that holds
post
the-
so they can see where the end
Oh.
of it is, so they don't run into
Yeah.
it.
Pull on each end?
Because it'll be your guys' responsibility to plow the drive-through,
Right.
and
Yeah,
so
that'd be
therefore, you guys aren't running
Yeah.
into the curb and damaging it and having to replace it, and as for the city, that
That's
we're
actually-
not.
Yeah, I thought about even putting a guardrail up or something like that, but that's really not functional either from the standpoint of removing snow for
Yeah,
us or for the city on the city side.
just something so that
Yeah.
whoever is removing
Sure.
snow can then see
Yeah.
where it sits at, since if it's covered, it'll get run over.
Cheapest and easiest option for that is they have reflective, they're thin, like about as big around as rebar.
Yeah,
They're like fiberglass, and you put them out in the winter time to mark the ends,
right.
and that's something would be easy to remedy that, so that way both the bank that's clearing their snow and the city guys would be able to see where that spot starts and ends.
Yeah, my only, as I try to visualize that, my only concern would be, it can't be in the front by the grill of the car. Every car is gonna stick over a little bit over the curb.
Yeah.
So I would have to, we'd have to research that, and see if it's in between the cars or just what.
Yeah, just something so I can
Yep.
see, and I think
Good
if you
thought.
put it right at the end, no car is gonna like bump right up to the end of that
Right.
curb, because they're sideways parking spots.
Yep.
And then my second question was, at the end, when you were going to like merge back on to
Mhm.
the street, is there gonna be any signage to say merge? Is there
Sure.
gonna be, what's going to be there to make sure that?
Yep, it would be probably very close, I don't know, on the light pole.
Okay.
It'd be the light pole that's there right now, but it'd be a sign.
Just to make
About
sure that
merging
they're
traffic.
stopping and
Yep.
looking.
Yep.
One of the big concerns the last time was put to us as council was kids use that street to ride their bike. I honestly can say the whole week not one kid was riding on that side. No,
There's no
I saw no
houses.
kids. So now that there's not, a cafe or that, I don't think it's I mean, they might drive through there yet. I mean, but that will be up to you guys, to drive on that. But I did have one person tell me that their child, or they saw a child, I shouldn't say it was their child, almost hit by a car coming from out of the drive up through right now. They didn't see. And they came out and the car came out. It was close.
Yeah,
So,
we've probably been fortunate,
yeah.
whether kids or adults walking.
Actually, it was a bank employee that told me that they said it was close call. So it could happen. So, I mean, it could happen in the new way too, but.
But visibility's there in the new way.
Yeah. Well, we can't make a decision positively tonight, but we will put it on the agenda for the next meeting for sure. That will give everybody here a chance to look it over, and is that okay?
If any of you council folks have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Okay.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Yes, thank you. Okay, at this time, code enforcement update.
So you all have in your packet the most recent update from the code official, Tim Austin. You can look through that, and he's got pretty good notes all through that. So take a look. If there's any questions, let me know. Last page is just those that have originally gotten that warning letter that have now come in compliance. Still some work to do, but he's still working on that process and working with people that have things that they need to take care of, that, like painting or reciting or things like that. I just remind everybody, if you've gotten those letters and you have questions, Tim Austin's the code enforcer, and his contact information is on that letter. He covers a multitude of cities, so he can sometimes be hard to get a hold of, so continue to try, or you can text him or leave him a voicemail too. So if you have any questions on that, let me know.
For you who are here tonight, just so you're aware of it, we do have a new code enforcer in Elsie's. And he's making monthly site visits, he's sent letters. He has a file, he's keeping us very informed, which in the past, we haven't had this. So this is a good thing. So just so you know, that's what he's talking about.
Any questions on the invoice?
Okay, at this time, ordinance 202407, amending chapter 8.01, general provisions, first reading.
All right, so pretty much there's three different revisions that we would propose to the way the utilities are billed currently. First would be 1.04. It would be increasing from $5 late fee to $10, and also it changes it so it's not paid by the 20th day of the month. So there have been a few times where we might not be getting them out early enough for the 10th of the month. So this would allow 15th. So this would allow us to get them out. Do I have the wrong one? The new one's 15th? The old one. The old one was 15th. Sorry. The old one was the 15th. The new one would be the 20th. So it would allow the city ample time to make sure we're getting all the bills out. That way we're not having to deal with a situation where we didn't get the bill out in time and it's already delinquent. Well, the city can't really impose a late fee then. So it would extend that deadline, so it would ensure that we get everything out. The next would be unpaid bills. The only part of this that changed was instead of 5 working days from the date of the mailing, it gives them until the first of the next month before we potentially shut them off from the utilities. So prior, you didn't pay your bill by the 15th, you got 5 days from when we serve you with a notice of it, and then we're shutting it off. Here, it's allowing them a little more time and gives us a little bit of more cover. So ultimately, it gives people more time to pay their bills before we're taking action on it. And then finally, 8.0109, this is adding additional language in there specifically discussing issues with lessor-lessee relations, essentially saying that both are liable. So in the case that we have a lessor or a lessee, they both have to make sure that somebody's paying it. That was already in the old stuff, but it also requires for us to get communication from the owner. So we have a contact, a working contact number with them, so we can communicate with them, so they're aware of a delinquency in the utilities. So
I have a question to that.
Yeah.
How long's that been in effect
What?
with the delinquent? Because I had a rental house and we had renters that were delinquent and we didn't know anything about it.
That's why we're trying to change this language.
So this is a new thing you're
This
doing?
is, this is
This
new
has
ordinance.
to
Okay, I was gonna say, 'cause-
No.
all right.
Yes, so essentially with the new ordinance, both would be liable, lessor or lessee. We could proceed against either or both if we wanted to. And then if there's a dispute about that, the city's at least covered, and then the lessor and lessee can fight it out or in court if they need to. So essentially making sure the city's getting paid for it.
I did have a question for that part on the bottom. It says, like, if they fail to pay, that they have to re-put a new deposit down. Who is responsible to put the new deposit down? So it says, if service terminated for failure to pay a new full deposit.
Yeah. So it would be whoever originally paid the deposit.
It would be the 10th.
I just wanted to make sure because I know there's a lot of rental houses, so
Yep.
just make sure that the owners know who is needing to pay
Should
for
I
it.
clarify that also?
I think so. We can amend this. We can still pass this with the amendment to say the lessee.
If service is terminated for failure to pay, the lessee will be responsible.
Yep. The lessee shall be required by the lessee.
You have the lingo down. That was the only thing I thought might just be a little unclear.
Okay. So if we wanted to do this with the amendment, essentially the motion was to pass with an amendment to section 3, adding a new full deposit shall be required by the lessee, as well as read that sentence out. Does that make sense?
Okay, so at this time,
Wait, sorry, one other question. When would it start?
When would this start?
Yeah.
So-
After the reading and
The
then?
ordinance would have to
It's,
get read.
after the second reading, it's published, and it's the 20th day of the month after it's published.
Okay, so it will give them.
The 20th of July. We get passed in June.
Yes,
June,
so it'd
yeah.
be end of July.
so at this time, we need a motion to approve the ordinance 2024-07, amending chapter 8.01, general provisions, first reading, changing section 3. I gotta find that. Failure for the leasing to adhere to the provision will result in the deposit on file for the address being applied for in the amount of the unpaid bill. In the event an unpaid bill is greater than the amount of the deposit, the provision of 8.0105 shall be used.
I think you went to that part.
Is is that the wrong part?
Next one
Very
after
last
that.
sentence.
If service is terminated for failure to pay, a new full deposit shall be required, as well as a reconnect fee and payment in full of any delinquent amount prior to reconnection of services by the leasee, right?
That's also.
So we'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to go forward with ordinance 2024-07, amending chapter 8.01 general provisions with the amendment of any failure to pay, then a new full deposit shall be required, as well as reconnect fee and payment in full of any delinquent amount prior to reconnection of services by the leasee.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, pool repair update.
Yes, the pool. God bless the weather and the rain. I'm sure the farmers are glad, but we're not. So just a quick update. Everybody's seen the piles of dirt around the pool. When the contractors uncovered the skimmers that are getting replaced, they found that the PVC plumbing surrounding the pool that the skimmers attached to was extremely and severely deteriorated to the point where the PVC was basically disintegrating anytime they tried to do anything with it. So all of the PVC plumbing around the exterior of the pool needed to be replaced. Between myself and the contractor, we hunted down pretty much every PVC supplier within a 4-state radius. We were able to get the cost down from originally $8,000 to $10,000. We were able to get all of the PVC needed and fixtures and everything from Core and Main up in Sioux Falls for just over $3,200. It was delivered, I think, yesterday. Unfortunately, because of the rain Sunday night into yesterday, they weren't able to do any work. The plan was for them to come here today and do work from their job in Okoboji. I didn't see if they ended up here with the rain we got this afternoon.
They were here a little bit.
Okay. So this week's weather is putting us even farther behind. As of Saturday afternoon, when I spoke with the contractor, he was still going to be able to completely finish by the end of this month. Now I'm not 100% sure. But once he's able to actually get in there and start working, he said it's only going to be about 2 weeks for them to 2 to 2.5 weeks to complete. So it's coming. Be patient. We're working with it. I talk to the contractor at least 3 or 4 times a week. I'm sure he's sick and tired of hearing from me, but it will be open this year. Hopefully by the 1st of July, if not 4th of July, but early July now at this point, hopefully, as long as the weather cooperates.
Appreciate your help, Dave.
I have a question to ask you about that. Will they still do the skipper lessons then or not?
They have tentative dates scheduled. I haven't put them out yet just to make sure that we have the opening date and nothing else came up. But it's right now, Sarah has them tentatively planned for middle to end of July and then end of July and August for first and second session.
Our goal is to possibly keep it open till Labor Day. If we can get enough lifeguards that don't go it won't be open in the day, and maybe it can be open at night for a couple hours and on weekends. And there is at least 2 lifeguards that don't do sports. So we're hoping. And also we're hoping to increase the hours. I do not know how our pool hours got switched, but they will be open 1 to 5 and in the evening too. So we're working on that.
And then the money, I could be wrong here, but we did have enough money to get this part of it done, right?
Correct.
What about
from the
the
anonymous
PVC?
from the anonymous donation, the anonymous donors that were gracious enough to help us out with the emergency pool repairs was $165,000. The initial contract with the pool for the original pool repairs was $153,500, something like $154,000. So there was a cushion. So we were still able to get that within the amount that was donated just specifically. There's still a little bit left in case something else comes up. Fingers crossed, nothing happens.
Okay, any other concerns, questions? Okay, city property recommendations for SDPAA valuation inspection.
So as part of the city switching to the Public Assurance Alliance, they were required to do a statement evaluation for all of the city properties. In your handouts were some recommendations that were sent back from that evaluator. A lot of it is just some recommended, maintenance, taking care of the exteriors of the building. The big one on page 3 of the handout is concerning the old clubhouse. There were some electrical outlets that they recommended being replaced that were not, they've never been updated to the ground fault for exposure to water areas. And then also the second thing for that was recommended repairing or replacing the siding on the south side of the building to prevent further deterioration of the building. It is something that the city guys, Shane and Lonnie, have looked into. That is potential if we just do that portion or if we would do the whole exterior. I don't have everything put together for you quite yet, but we could do the entire exterior. I can't remember exactly what the dollar value was, but
5,000.
yeah, it would not, it's, if our guys did it versus hiring somebody, so it would not be extremely expensive. So something that I'm hoping to have to present to you guys for the next meeting for that piece. The benefit of the city doing these updates and maintenance things is it allows us to get a discount basically on our insurance premiums. The more of this that gets done and I can send back to the insurer with pictures of it being completed, the more discounts we would get for the insurance premiums. So there's a couple of things there that have already been completed. So still work. We have 60 days to get this back to them. So any questions on that at all?
If we have 60 days, do they just need to know like our plan of doing it or has to be completed in 60 days?
Both. If it's not completed, we just have to put an estimated completion date with the plan of action.
Okay.
So, and then once it would be completed, give them another update. So. Questions on that at all?
It was actually less than what I thought they were going to say, so.
Yeah, I was kind of scared. This is pretty good.
That's all I have for that.
All right. Okay, at this time, we need a motion to approve paying Banner Associates invoice number 42649 in the amount of $23,872.36 for services through May 25th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve paying Banner Associates invoice 42649, the amount of $23,872.36 for services through May 25th, 2024.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve paying Banner Associates invoice 42649 in the amount of $23,872.36. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, at this time, discussion of hiring a full-time seasonal support in the Public Works Department.
This was kind of brought forth from the Public Works Department when I did Lonnie's annual review. So I said that I would bring it to you guys to discuss, since we do have both full-time employees there now. And we do have our part-time people who do mowing and, groundskeeping and whatnot. But they are all older, retired people. and they do amazing work, but I do think it would be definitely to our advantage to see if we could possibly put in for a full-time seasonal employee to help with the groundkeeping and just like taking the park, or, you know, they do the park, the cemetery, and obviously the golf course is their main thing, but I just think it is going to be a necessity because Lonnie's not able to do as much of it, taking over in the new water waste treatment facility and just all the things that that encompasses, so he's not able to be on the golf course as much. And I don't, do you guys have any questions, or what are your guys' opinion?
Well, one of them is, he's not gonna be able to do it too much longer, I don't think, and he's already told me, like, with the rain we've had, that he's like, I can't even keep up with the park, because it's just
Yeah.
nonstop, and with one guy doing it, by the time he gets all the way to the end of it, the other part of it's already tall, so he's just constantly back there, and, yeah, it's. we're
The
gonna have to
sewer,
have
you
some-
mean?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have somebody.
With the new sewer treatment plant, they're gonna be expected to spend on average 4 to 5 hours there at the plant, maintaining that on a daily basis, plus the time of running samples up Sioux Falls that are required by the state. So that's gonna take half of an employee every week to get that stuff done, so.
I guess for me, I think it would be a great opportunity to see what our options are to hire a high school kid who can mow. I mean, we have high schoolers at the pool, so we do employ high schoolers. Or somebody, I mean, a teacher who might just want a summer job. I feel like there are probably people who would like it. It is full-time, so you'd have the hours there. But I just think it's something we really need to consider to be able to meet the needs, especially with everything that we're taking on is growing.
So is this like now? You need it now?
I think they would like to have it now. I think this person could also help with the water meter reading until we're able to get the automated water meters in and up and running and, you know, whatnot. I think this person could also help with that, so it would take that off of, you know, everybody's plates. And then the full-time public works people can just focus on, like he said, getting the water samples done, all the projects that are going on. We're gonna have street, you know, redoing streets soon and everything that comes with that, so. They're busy guys.
This is just thinking out of the box, but we've got lifeguards who really, I've said they might have to look for another job if this doesn't happen. Could we utilize lifeguards in positions like this? To maybe mow and read meters?
For sure.
Depends on their age with the mowing, state law puts an age at what equipment they
They have to
can
be
use at what
16.
age.
Okay.
I don't know the ages
I
of
don't, do we
the,
have any boys 16? We have some boys that are 16.
Yeah, I'd have to look, I don't know what
Yeah.
they are, but.
You have Evan Brown, who's 17.
Yeah, he's 17, yeah. I mean,
17 and 18,
I
they
know
can use
these
some of
kids
the
wanna work.
bigger equipment.
Yeah.
Under, like 16 and under, there's some of the equipment they can't use, and I don't know the law.
but could they read
that well.
meters?
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, until then we could see what the budget is for next year. If then we could figure, you know, maybe we are gonna need to hire somebody, but then we kind of know where we're at. I don't know, does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
That'll get us by for the next couple months. Once the pool opens, their availability will drop.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of them would still have mornings because some can't teach swimming lessons. You know, so maybe we could look at that. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Carrie, what do you think?
Well, I guess my concern is, we needed somebody to read meters before, and we couldn't find anybody in the city. Of course, I don't know the kids realize that they would have, or children could do that, but I know that more girls were out doing it at one time. You know, I guess it wouldn't hurt to put feelings out there, or feelers out there and see if anybody would be interested.
Well, maybe, if that's okay, maybe we'll talk to some of them. I mean, they're already hired, so it's not a whole nother,
No advertising, no onboarding.
no. It'd get us by until, and it'd give them work for the summer.
Maybe start there and see if any of them are interested and go from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
All right. We don't need a motion for anything of that, do we? All right, finance office.
In your packet, just some updated year-to-date financials. Look through that. First one is a revenue summary. Right behind that is the profit loss. It'll give you by department revenues and expenditures, just a summary. And then 2 pages behind that is just the same thing, budget to expenses by department, by line item. So if you want to take a look through there, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
I have a question. This is Renzer Banyan. Have you fully separated the community center and the golf course yet? I know, that's last case. Is that because in the breakdown it's golf course and then community center? Is that why on the profits loss summary there's a loss for the golf course? Because I thought we were in agreement. Page 2.
No, we've still been in the red up through the year. It's just slowly shrinking as the summer gets busier.
Okay,
So
but based off of last year,
we're farther ahead than we were at this time last year. Revenue is up, expenses are up a little bit, but as the year has progressed, that gap has slowly changed.
Thank you for clarifying.
Any questions on that at all? And then, just so you know, a couple meetings ago, I gave you all a copy of the draft of the 2022 auditor's report. That finalized audit report did come back and is available here for anybody that would like to see it anybody in the public, if any of the council members would like to see it. As far as I know, there were no changes once it came back from the state. So if you have any questions, if you're able to look through that, if anybody in the public would like to take a look at it, feel free to stop in the office. I have a copy here that you can take a look at. And then right after that, starting next week on the 25th through the 27th, ELO will be on site with me to start fiscal year 2023's audit. So if you notice all my stuff in the back, that's what I'm getting ready for, is getting everything put together for the auditor for next week. So, and then the updates and reminders just for everybody. Citywide rummage sale on the 29th, a week and a half from now. If there's anybody that wishes to sign up, they can get everything to me by this Friday. And then I will get everything sent over to the newspaper for publication for next week. And then there will be some handouts at both gas stations. Probably bring one down to the bank to hang up with addresses and times. It'll be on the city's website, the Facebook pages for the city, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Alcester Marketplace. So we should be able to find that. And then it'll be in the Beersford, Alcester, Hudson Republic, the Akron newspaper, the Hayward newspaper, and the Camp newspaper the week of. And the last thing I have is just a reminder, starting next week is the first Alcester Farmers Market. We have had some vendors come in and start to sign their contracts. So we'll have a few people there for sure. But south side of the park next week, starting at 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Weather pending, if we need to, we can move it to the 2 park shelters. Worst comes to worst, if the weather is that bad, we can always move it into the community center if we have to, as long as it's available. Depending, Tuesday nights are men's league, golf league, so if we need to move it, I would need to coordinate with Tim Reed to see if we can do some parking over at the school and stuff like that. But so that's kind of the backup plans. Hopefully we see a good crowd. There's no cost for vendors. It's just signing a contract, basically, just to say that you'll follow all the state laws and waiving liability from the city and stuff like that. So.
Dave's trying to get this going again, and that's great. In the past, rummage sales used to be a big deal. They kind of started falling through the cracks, but he's got the publicity out there, so we're hoping to get this all back on track. So, and the farmer's market is new, so we're gonna try it. So, thank you for what you did. Okay, at this time, do we need any executive session? Anybody? No. Okay. So at this time, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion is made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming. You guys stand up. If you guys got questions for him, now's a good time to ask them. Thank you for staying.